Hey, what is up, everybody? It's Michael Tranter here. I know the name says Greg Ryder, but this is Greg Ryder's account. I usually host a Ask the Experts webinar for T-Rex every Tuesday and Thursday at this time. But we have a really special guest with us here today, so that's why you have a different link that you registered with. So I know people are still kind of coming in. And first and foremost, I just want, if you guys can hear me, make sure that you can hear me. Can you just put in a one or yes, I can hear you? And you can see us. We decided to show our faces before we got started just to say, hey, I don't usually do that. I know it's like, oh my gosh, how do I look? Okay, so we got a lot of loud and clears. Yes, everyone can hear. Sandra, what's up? Marilyn, Brad, John, Anita. A lot of people are still rolling in here, so we'll get started here in just a second. I know Jason has a lot of content that he wants to cover, and so I don't want to waste too much time. And for those of you that don't know our special guest, he's been on with us before on Ask the Experts. Earlier this year, Jason came on and he was talking a lot about YouTube and getting YouTube traffic and doing all kinds of really cool stuff with that. And I know today, we're going to be talking about how to use Instagram influencers to generate like low cost and often free traffic. And so for those of you that don't know Jason or have never heard of him or don't know what he does, he's going to jump on right now, give himself a little introduction, and then I'm going to hand him over the screen and he's going to get started. How you doing, Jason?
Hey, I'm doing well. How you doing?
Very well.
Good, good. I was
I got,
commenting earlier, the fancy wine rack's not behind us anymore.
yeah, I got a Zach Brown concert to go to later tonight, so I am really pumped.
Nice, nice. Oh, good band.
Yes.
Just full disclaimer, this may sound kind of weird. If you hear like loud random thumping noises or like somebody's like hammering their fist on a desk, don't be alarmed. You also may hear Russian men yelling in the background. Funny as it may seem, the reason is because actually they were doing the roof here, and the windstorm took a lot of the roof off, so they're outside and they're yelling down to get supplies. So it's been noisy over here and loud. So don't be alarmed if you wonder where the heck is this guy calling in from here.
You're not, wait a minute, Jason, you're not hosting like illegal Russian fighting in your
No,
basement
no,
or something? Okay.
no, no. They just happen to be, Russian crew here. They're doing a great job. I mean, I can't complain, but they are loud and they do yell in Russian, just to warn you people. So there you go. It's out of the way.
Awesome. Okay.
So let me see if I can share my screen here so you can follow along with me here. Okay, give me 1 second. All right. And let me know if you can see this here. 1 second here. Yeah, you can see my screen. Just give me like again, a yes or an okay in the chat window, just so I know that you can see the actual slides on my screen in front of you here. So, all right, see a bunch of okays, all right, from Brad, Mark, Anita, Stewart, awesome, okay. All right, so I'm going to try and fly through this as quickly as I can. I have a lot of content, like Michael said, and I've condensed this down. I've only given this actual class a couple times now, and I've condensed it down to try to fit within the hour that we have today, all right? So take notes, and I do tend to talk fast when I get excited. So again, I encourage you to, I'm just muting my cell phone right now, reminding myself, and I've got the door closed here to be fully focused on this presentation today. So we're talking about tapping into a 1.1 billion user a month base using a very simple system that gets you super cheap, often free, sky-high converting traffic. And this works for hundreds of different niche markets online. And it's not Facebook, Google, Twitter, Pinterest, or YouTube, which is, as we talked about, I'm a huge fan of. Of course, we're talking about Instagram today. And I gave the folks at T-Rex the option of letting the cat out of the bag and mentioning it's Instagram, or using a little bit of, of suspense and intrigue and not mentioning Instagram. So you already know what's happening here. So I'm glad you showed up today, and we'll have some fun talking about some really unique things in the world of online marketing. Let me get this presentation to, oh, there we go, okay. So real quick, this web class didn't come about by some random chance. Often what I do online is I end up discovering things that are working or testing things, and then I end up actually diving in and wrapping technology around them. And we'll talk about that later on. But back in December of last year, 2017, did a 3-hour marathon for my customers and subscribers, talking about, what's happening in 2018. What are the trends? Where are things going? Where are things headed? And one of the things we talked about was Instagram and tapping into influencers. And after that webinar, I got a ton of feedback and questions from people saying, tell me more, how can I do more? How can I really take this to the next level? Can you give me some more information? And I'm like, well, hey, I was just dabbling in influencer marketing myself, wasn't really qualified to lay out the whole master plan. So that's why we're here today. Fast forward, a good 7-8 months. I have laid down the master plan, done a lot of testing, and have had some great success. And that's why I'm sharing this with you here today, which started that journey, as I said, back in December. Now, of course, the teaser is, it's Instagram, it's influencer marketing. But the cool thing is that according to some recent studies and surveys, this is the fastest growing online customer acquisition method. And the question marks there is actually influencer marketing, as I'll show you later on. Above organic search, above, the king, email. Everyone calls email the king of response, the king of money getting, right? The king of generating cash. Above paid search, display advertising. So pretty exciting when I saw stats like this, that influencer marketing had such a high level of recognition, and really was recognized as the fastest growing online source of customers. Same thing with acquiring online customers. In terms of being cost effective, I don't know about you, I don't want to overspend when I'm trying to acquire customers for my business. And obviously, with some traffic methods, as we'll talk about later on, it's getting just insanely expensive trying to just convert a click into a buyer or a lead. And as you see here, once again, influencer marketing is actually on top of email, organic search, paid search. So really got me excited and paying attention about this whole influencer marketing thing when I keep seeing these kind of studies coming out, right? And people really talking about how well received and how effective and cost effective influencer marketing is. So that's kind of where things started. And if that doesn't get you excited, if you don't see these kind of stats and go, wow, I should be paying attention to this stuff, then I don't know, maybe you got to pour another cappuccino or something. I don't know. Anyway, I got excited when I saw a lot of these stats coming out, and I'm sure you'll share my passion over the next hour when we kind of deep dive into this whole realm of influencer marketing, okay? So I know you're here because you want free traffic. That's obvious, especially if you're part of the e-commerce and T-Rex group. No traffic equals no sales, right? Obvious. And of course, you want inexpensive or free traffic. You're not paying, no one wants to pay $5 a click, on some traffic sources. And it must convert into sales, because everyone knows you can buy garbage traffic, but if it's not putting, people into your cart and people on your buyers list, it's really a waste of your time and money. And you know that organic traffic takes a long time. Yes, there are some ways to shortcut that. I found ways to do that, but for the most part, though, if you're trying to rank something on Google, it's going to take you a while to get in Google's good graces to have your site stick at the top of the search engines, right? I mean, everyone knows this. It's kind of a long-term play. And you know that AdWords and Facebook ad prices are just crazy high. This has happened for the past few years with no end in sight. And unfortunately, Facebook killed free traffic going back a few months ago. Zuckerberg decided to just pull the rug out from everybody who has a free Facebook account or any kind of Facebook groups. And really, it's a pay-to-play model now. You can't get a lot of exposure and reach with your free Facebook account. You need to put your credit card down to get that kind of a reach, which kind of sucks, especially when you're selling a $4 item or even a $19 pair of yoga pants or whatever. It's tough to kind of make that work in many cases. And why this is different, why Instagram and influencer marketing is different, because it's not about short-lived hacks or tricks, right? No loopholes here. You don't have to wait weeks or months for results. It can happen in days, as I'll show you. You're not going to be paying $2 or $5 a click, which is often the case on Facebook when you're getting very targeted traffic. As you'll see, you can often get free, yes, I said free traffic from Instagram, which is pretty exciting. And if you don't have any kind of funnels, if you don't have multiple products, if you're not some super, internet marketing ninja, if you're just starting out, that's not a problem, because as you'll see, this really is a simple point and click way to start driving highly quality, highly responsive visitors to whatever it is you're selling, right? So take a deep breath and relax. We're not talking about going into a deep dive of these overly complicated methods. It really is simple, as you'll see. And anybody can do this stuff. And if you're an affiliate marketer, if you're doing e-com or T-Rex digital products, really, it doesn't matter what kind of products you're selling or the niche, you can find an audience through Instagram influencers, as we'll talk about later on. And we're talking about high converting traffic here, folks, okay? We're not talking about buying 10,000 clicks for $5 and then wondering why nothing has happened. High converting traffic. And also, we can do a little bit of spying, a little bit of espionage, but don't worry, in a good way. I'm not talking about doing black hat stuff or being under the ground or shady. But I do love doing me some spying, as I'll show you when we talk about the 1, 2, 3s of how to use this process, okay? Before we begin, A real quick earning and effort disclaimer. You're probably used to seeing earning disclaimer, but I want to give you an effort disclaimer because this is not some get traffic quick gimmick, okay? If you've been on webinars with me before, you know that I don't really preach the, hey, you can make get 10,000 visitors in a single day by clicking this magic button here. And also, nobody's promising you $10,000 a day. I mean, I know you're smarter than that, especially because you are customers of Greg, and T-Rex is a great program. But I need to put it out there just so you understand that this is not one of those, hey, everybody, let's make 10 grand a day and work an hour a day. It's not that kind of a system, all right? This system does require you to do something, much like most things in life, right? Anything you want in life is worth pursuing, whether it's financial goals, if it's career goals, if relationship goals, family goals, you got to put in the time and do something, right? This is no different. You can use some automation, which makes it easier, and I'll talk a bit about that later on, which is optional for you, not required, if you think it makes sense for you. And this is not like Facebook ads, right? You can't log in, click a few buttons, and your ads are live on Instagram influencers pages all across Instagram. And the reason I put a little light bulb here is because there's an opportunity here. And the reason why a lot of people aren't doing this right now is because there's not that convenience factor. There's no sexy login panel where you put in your Visa card and click go. So if you can roll up your sleeves and do a little bit of work, you can really get a leg up on all your competitors and get a massive amount of quality traffic for dirt cheap or free, just because you're willing to put a little bit of extra work in. So if that sounds like you, if you're willing to kind of just dig your heels in, then I think you'll be excited about the process I'm going to show you here before everyone else jumps on this over the next year or two, and it becomes kind of mainstream in your niche and amongst your competitors as well, right? All right, so real quick, I know Michael gave me a great introduction earlier. Just want to clarify a few things here. There's another Jason Potash out there who creates these weird coloring books, like tattoo design coloring books for adults, or I saw a unicorn coloring book. I kid you not, I'm not making this stuff up. That's not me. I don't create any kind of coloring books. Also, I'm not the guy here on the right who is a Hollywood producer. He's at Tribeca and all these fancy schmancy events. I'm not the guy. I'm this guy. Free traffic guy since 2001. Which is about the time I got started online and just happened to stumble into free traffic. That was kind of my comfort zone. I prefer to not pay Facebook or Google for free traffic at all. And I'll be showing you my latest traffic discovery during this web class. As I said, yes, you can get free traffic from Instagram influencers, as weird as that may seem. And I'll explain to you exactly why that's happening today in this workshop. So the situation today, as you probably know, Google's revenue is off the charts. They're making a killing. As you can see, the hockey stick curve upwards there. No different than Facebook. And the reason being because obviously it's your advertising dollars at work. Mine too, a little bit, but mainly a lot of people pumping big cash into Google and Facebook. And that's not going to stop anytime soon. I think I read a stat that something like 80% of Google's revenue is from advertising revenue, right? So we don't want to pay Google anything or pay Facebook anything if we can help it. And that's why we're here today. So that's what we're going to talk about. So before we jump into the 1, 2, 3s here, just want to talk a little bit about the economics, if you will, of sort of ad prices and that kind of thing. And don't worry, maybe you had bad memories of economics class. I did. I had an instructor who had a very thick accent. I couldn't understand him. Not his fault, but I had a real hard time in economics. So I'm having a bit of a bad flashback. But anyway, when the ad demand, okay, let's say it's Facebook. If there's more demand for Facebook ads than ad supply inventory, prices are higher. And that's what's happening right now in the world of Facebook and Google, right? There's huge demand and only a limited number of places you can advertise. On the flip side, when the ad demand is less than the ad supply or inventory, you get lower prices, often dirt cheap prices. So which is the best option for you? Obviously option 2. And that's kind of where we're at right now with Instagram, right? The demand is decent, but there's a huge amount of supply out there. You can get great bargains, as I'll explain to you in the next few minutes, okay? So before we jump in, there's 3 ways to get traffic, basically. You probably already know this. One is you can buy it, right? We talked a bit about that, giving money to Google and Facebook. A lot of people do it. 2, you can borrow it. And 3, you can create it. Well, today I'm talking about a hybrid approach where we're kind of buying it and borrowing. We're not creating it. We're not building Instagram pages. We're not, trying to get our page up to 10,000 followers so we can finally cash in and spend a year of our lives. We're not, I repeat, we're not building anything. We're not building pages, okay? We're not creating fans. We're going to kind of skip all that and go to the front of the line, as I'll show you here. So when you create your own traffic, obviously it takes time to build pages, right? You need great content optimization. As you probably know, Google does not rank garbage anymore. Back when I got started in year 2001, you could put together like really a slap together article, upload it, and you'd be on page one surprisingly very easily. Not the case anymore. It takes a long time. Plus, as you know, it can be volatile. I explained to you what Facebook would happen. Zuckerberg pulled the rug out, no more free ride. And Google's the same way. Google can shuffle the deck anytime they want to. You're on page one today, you're on page nowhere tomorrow, and ask me how I know. It has happened to me. Unfortunately, it's just a risk you take when you try to get free traffic. Borrowing traffic, low cost, music to my ears, often free, even better, low risk. And some examples are, going onto forums, posting on forums in your niche, being a helpful advisor, attracting subscribers and customers that way. Podcast, being interviewed on a podcast, a webinar, much like today. The good folks at T-Rex invited me to talk with you today. So I am being introduced to their audience, obviously. So I'm borrowing, their customer base, if you will, and providing some good content in return. Ad swaps, same sort of thing. So you get the idea, right? So again, you're not really spending money, low risk, and most often you're spending a bit of your time, and that's about it, okay? So when I see what's happening out there, and you probably get the same emails that I do, and I see what's going on in the world of online marketing, there's a lot of craziness happening, right? In the world of Facebook, in the world of Google, and that sort of thing. A lot of uncertainty and that kind of thing. So when I look at what's happening looking forward, I want to kind of avoid getting into a situation where, the sky is falling, woe's me, I can't rank anymore, I'm paying $9 a click, all that kind of stuff, right? So don't worry about all that. Let's kind of like think about the happy place of, not gloom and doom, but really where some good things can happen. So obviously, it's like a great quote that I pulled up here. I mean, a person who really wants something will find a way, and a person who doesn't will find an excuse. And that's just the way it is in life and in general. So for me, when I look at Google's rising prices of AdWords and Facebook increasing prices, again, you can just whine about it, or you can say, you know what, let's just find a better way. Let's just find something else. Let's make it work. Here's a great quote that really brings us into talking about influencer marketing from the great Steve Jobs, who unfortunately we lost many, many years ago. And I was a fan of this saying before I even realized that Steve was. And as I quote up top here, there's an old saying by Wayne Gretzky that I love. And it says, I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. And we've always tried to do that at Apple. So where is the online traffic puck going, if you will? And this is something I've always tried to do ever since I got started online, is trying to see, well, we know that, Facebook, we talked about free traffic being dead. So does it make sense to create a free Facebook page and try to build up, 20,000 likes over the next year? You can do that, but obviously the puck is already gone. I mean, the puck is not going there anymore. The puck was going there in 2012, 2014, 2016, not so much anymore, right? So when I see what's happening in terms of online marketing, I don't know about you, but lately, especially in 2018, it seems to be the year of Instagram. Fastest growing social media platform. Instagram influences almost 75% of purchase decisions. Growing faster than ever. It's the marketer's favorite social media platform. Sky high engagement, 15 times more than Facebook, 20 times more engagement than Twitter, and on and on and on and on, right? I mean, a lot of people are raving about Instagram. So for me as a marketer, that's where I want to place my efforts. Rather than be having this conversation in 2020, when perhaps Instagram is sort of already saturated, all the easy traffic getting is gone, right? You want to get in early before all your competitors jump on and it becomes sort of a cage fighting match. Wouldn't you agree? So that's what we're talking about Instagram here today. And when I see some of the charts, as you see here, with the massive growth of the user base, and also on the right side, looking at, Instagram is a baby. In terms of the age of Instagram compared to Facebook and YouTube and other social media platforms, even Twitter, Instagram is just a child on training wheels. And once things ramp up, you can see where things are going. It's going to become this behemoth of a traffic source, and it's growing very, very quickly. So that kind of just sets the stage on why I'm excited about Instagram and why I think you will be too. But hold on, I know that you're probably thinking, if you have kids that are older than 12, you know where this is going. Hold on, isn't Instagram for kids or a bunch of teenagers? Well, the answer is no, because I pulled up some stats here just to kind of give you an idea. Look at Snapchat and Kik. If you're a father or mother of teenage kids, you know what Snapchat is. Kik I had no idea what the hell Kik even was until I stumbled upon it in my research. It's a messaging app as well that the kids use. Us old people don't use Kik at all, I can assure you. The demographics here, obviously, the sweet spot's like 16 to 24 on average, may even be a bit younger. Looking at Facebook and Instagram, you can see here that in terms of the graphs, Facebook and Instagram are very similar, and 25 to 54-year-olds is kind of the sweet spot with Facebook and Instagram, and that gap is becoming narrower and narrower as more people jump onto Instagram. So pretty exciting stuff, right? When you can see that the demographic is not a bunch of teenagers who are posting selfies on Instagram. Obviously, that's part of it, but it's much more than that. So the question is, how can you tap into Instagram's 1.1 billion users? When I say 1.1 billion, that's kind of the forecasted user base by the end of this year. It may be a bit less, it may be a bit more, but who cares? We're talking about like a billion users, plus or minus. Do you think that maybe even 0.002% of those may be in your target market or your demographic? Yeah, they will. They have to be, because people are people, right? So the things we can do, we can build it, obviously, which we're not going to do today, which takes months and years of time. Or we can buy Instagram ads. At that point, you're really paying retail prices through Facebook, which we talked about earlier, and you're paying the big dollars to get that traffic to your Instagram page. Or we can borrow that traffic through endorsements and word-of-mouth marketing. And wouldn't you agree that word-of-mouth marketing is probably the most powerful form of marketing out there? When somebody tells you about a service, or they tell you about a product or a great hamburger shop, in your hometown, you are going to believe them more than seeing this billboard ad on the freeway, right? I mean, common sense. So if we can borrow that traffic through endorsements and word-of-mouth marketing, that's going to give us the highest engagement and conversion. And I'm going to show you exactly with some stats on how that works with influencers, right? So obviously, we're talking today about influencers. And if you don't know what an influencer is, basically, they're people who have built a reputation for their knowledge and expertise on a particular topic. They make regular posts about that topic on their preferred social media channel and generate large followings of enthusiastic, engaged, emphasis on the engaged people who pay close attention to their views. All right. Brands love social media influencers because they can create trends and encourage their followers to buy products they promote. Music to my ears. I'm sure you too. If people are buying things, I'm all about getting in front of people, getting in front of buyers, right? Not tire kickers. So that's what we're going to talk about here today, specifically utilizing a strategy I'm going to show you. In particular, something I call a reverse spy hack, which I think you'll really like when you see exactly how that process works. Okay, so kind of the 10,000-foot aerial view here. If you're trying to understand this. We're not paying Facebook to run ads. We're skipping the middleman, the broker, if you will. We're going directly to influencers who have thousands of followers on Instagram. They've done all the hard work, all the heavy lifting. We're basically brokering a deal with them, and they promote your product, your content, or your site, your web link, whatever it is, to thousands of their highly engaged Instagram followers who like, know, and trust them. And when that happens, that's really when the magic happens, by piggybacking off of those followers, and you get literally instant traffic, sales, and leads as a part of this whole cycle. Does that make sense? Again, I mean, if you're new to this should kind of bring it full circle. If you already know what Instagram influencers are, that's cool. Thanks for sticking with us. We're going to dive into the actual 1, 2, 3s and the blueprint here in just a second here. And why I love Instagram is because, according to the stat here, 75% of users take action. 60% of users say they learn about products utilizing Instagram, and 75% take action. And action is defined as visiting a website, searching, shopping, or purchasing, ka-ching, or telling a friend after being inspired by an Instagram post. So again, I hope you're getting excited about Instagram, because when I see a highly engaged group of users for taking action, to me, that's exactly where I want to be and get my products in front of, right? And I'm sure you feel the same way. Also, 80% of consumers are highly likely to follow a recommendation made by an influencer, right? Again, word of mouth marketing. Somebody's telling you about a product and you like, know, and trust them, and the conversion goes off the chart. We already saw this here. Obviously, the spoiler alert is influencer marketing. Now, before we dive into the process, I want to kind of make a very clear distinction that many people mistake here. So when we talk about influencers, everyone talks about Kardashian, everyone talks about Kylie Jenner, maybe even Mark Wahlberg, right? And so Kim Kardashian, 111 million followers, Kylie Jenner, 109 million followers, Mark Wahlberg, still impressive, 9 million followers, right? And you hear about them endorsing products. They have their own products. I mean, I think I heard that Kylie Jenner got $300,000 for a single Instagram post, right? Well, luckily, we're not talking about these type of influencers, right? We're not talking about spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to advertise with Kylie Jenner. What we're talking about today is something called micro-influencers. And a micro-influencer is a non-celebrity individual who influences a relatively small but highly engaged follower base. And the sweet spot is around 10,000 followers, okay? Can be 20, 30, 40, 50,000, right? It's not a million. It's kind of looking at, kind of that 10 to 50,000 follower sweet spot for a few different reasons, right? So first reason, micro-influencers are more effective with marketing campaigns than highly popular accounts, right? Engagement rates are 60% higher. Also, the reason micro-influencers are the key to influencer marketing is because their audience size is not massive, but they're responsive. And as you see here, micro-influencer marketing is the game in 2018. And another kind of cool thing is that when you approach these micro-influencers, they're not being bombarded with people asking them to run their promotions or whatever, because most of the people want to focus on the big fish, right? They want to focus on the million follower influencer or the 190,000 follower influencer. And I'm telling you that we can get some amazing response and smaller wins with micro-influencers, and then just basically Lego stack those up over time. Does that make sense? Okay, we're not going for the big win, we're going for multiple wins with highly engaged audiences. So when I talk about micro-influencers, here's kind of a cross-section of some real micro-influencers on Instagram right now. On the left side there, I get paid to Instagram. Here's how I make $1,600 a month on the side. Not really a full-time hustle, right? Would you agree? I mean, it's kind of a part-time deal, and I'll talk about why that's important in a minute here. On the right, Rachel Ritlop, she's making about $1,000 a month with 17,000 followers plus or minus, right? On the bottom there, we've got luxury backpacking. They're making about $2,000 to $3,000 a month, right? So when we're talking about this kind of exposure, we're not talking about millions of people. We're not talking about 400,000 people. You can get some incredible deals and basically buy ads on these influencers accounts for as low as $10 to $20. No cost per click, no cost per impression. You're not paying, every time somebody clicks the like button or whatever. Flat rate traffic, okay, 10 to 20 bucks, dirt cheap, right? And also, the cool thing is these influencers are starving for two things. One is content. You can't take selfies all day long, right? You need other content to kind of populate your Instagram account. And the thing is, the more you post to Instagram, it's definitely a ranking factor. It helps you get more activity and higher amount of followers and exposure if you're posting on a daily basis or many times a day. So these Instagram influencers, they need content. In many cases, you giving them a product or a free sample or something to talk about gets them excited because they can provide some value and content to the user base. Also, yeah, they want to make money. And when you're making $1,000 a month, any money you throw at them, they're happy to take it and run ads because it all adds to them generating revenue. And the cool thing is, yes, these Instagram influencers will work for food. I mean, they will work for free. And I'll show you an example later on. By simply sending them sample or free samples of your products, as long as the product is good quality and decent product, they will often just say, hey, let me just kind of post about this and talk about it to my fan base. So by just sending them a product, you can get them to run a sponsored post or sponsored ad for you at no cost. Of course, the cost of your product, which is not as expensive as giving them $50 in many cases, right? So pretty cool, right? And this happens all the time. And many influencers will work for free. So some quick napkin math. Let's say you had, I don't know, maybe a $25 or $50 product. One influencer with a high level of engagement and even 10,000, 20,000 followers can conservatively bring you in $500. It's not difficult when you look at the high degree of engagement they have. A couple influencers, 1,000 a month, 3,000, 1,500 a month. It could be more, could be less. I don't know. I'm just throwing numbers against the wall here to give you an idea. 10 influencers, 5,000 a month. Once we get into 20 influencers a month, that's when the numbers become exciting and kind of life-changing, right? $10,000 a month does a lot of things for a lot of people. That's a very good, healthy, full-time income. What about 48 influencers a month? Well, there's a case study, a well-known case study online right now, talking about a supplement company. The company Shreds, they produce all kinds of vitamins, supplements, workout aids, workout gear. I mean, I'm talking about like, workout like hoodies and kind of, breathable tops or whatever, pants. Well, they said that they were doing $90,000 a year, a good business, and they went to $5 million a year. How? By using influencer marketing, right? So basically the 3 steps I'm going to show you right now are the exact same 3 steps they talked about in this article. I'm just going to expand upon it and give you more detail rather than just tell you. I'm going to show you how to do it, okay? So 90,000 a year to 5 million a year, working with, they said a few dozen influencers. So I'm going to say it could be 48, could be more than that, but roughly 48 influencers, $416,000 plus a month. Pretty amazing when that can happen, right? Again, utilizing the same blueprint I'm going to show you right here. So the 3 keys are: number 1, how to spy on other influencers and find them. Number 2, how to pick only niche micro influencers that have a highly responsive audience, very, very important. And number 3, use the old reverse spy hack to scale for bigger results. And when I was doing research in influencer marketing going back to late last year, early this year, nobody was talking about the reverse spy hack. Okay, everyone talks about the standard way, but I think you'll be really excited about key 3 because it's something that nobody's doing, including your competitors, including others who are in your niche, even selling the same products. They're not doing this stuff. So I think you'll be excited to see it. Let me just take a sip of water here, and then we'll dive into one example here. So since a lot of you folks are involved in e-commerce and selling physical products, especially if you're part of the T-Rex program, let's talk about something like yoga mats. And even if you don't do yoga, like me, I don't do yoga, but I know that yoga mats are an insanely competitive product category, and the yoga niche is also crazy competitive. So looking at Amazon here, you can see that if I type in yoga mat, that there are 4,000 results. Huge competition, right? And you can see here that the best seller product has over 8,400 4.5-star reviews. Crazy competition. So obviously for us to go and try to compete on Amazon, it's not going to happen. We can buy Amazon ads, obviously, but I'm going to guarantee you Amazon ads are pretty pricey when there's a lot of people who are trying to get, yoga mat sales from the yoga community. Wouldn't you agree? Again, supply and demand, right? There's a ton of products related to yoga mats and only a certain amount of ad space that Amazon can give you. So you're going to be paying through the nose. Anyone can see that. So let's not focus on advertising on Amazon. Even if we did have a product on Amazon, we can advertise through influencers on Instagram, and I'll show you how we do that in the next few minutes. So key number 1, spying on influencers, right? So when you go to influencer on your phone or on the desktop, you'll see a little kind of a search bar there, right? And if you type in something like yoga, it'll show you 2 things. It'll show you hashtags, and it'll show you actual Instagram accounts related to the keyword yoga. So you see here we have yoga, which is that is the ultimate Instagram/yoga. I mean, they kind of nailed that one. Also, we have Yoga Arizona, we have Yoga Practice, we have Yoga Girl. These are all Instagram accounts, in many cases influencers, who are just related to yoga. So those are a great way to start. So I gave you some check marks there to start doing some investigation on these accounts. The first thing you want to do is check the number of followers and the engagement rate. And the number of followers, as I said, if you're paying attention, 10,000 followers. It could be a bit less depending on how large or small your niche is. If it's a very small targeted niche, then yeah, go for a few thousand, because obviously you're not going to have these Instagram accounts with 20, 50,000 because it's a smaller niche, right? It makes sense. So for yoga, we're going to look at the number of followers and then calculate the engagement rate. And to calculate the engagement rate, you simply look at the average number of likes and comments per post, and you divide that by the number of followers and times 100. It just tells you how active are these followers. Are they paying attention, or are they totally ignoring what this person is posting? So if I look at the example here, you can just eyeball this if you want to, or you can go and actually do the proper math. So I can see here that roughly this girl, Carla Tafra, is getting about 1,500 average likes and comments per post divided by 43,000 times 100, 3.5% engagement rate. Now, is that good or bad? Well, it's good. I mean, here's the thing, folks. Anything above 2%, I say is good. If it's more than that, like 3.5% is great. If it's 5%, fantastic. It just means you're getting a highly engaged audience, okay? You can see that she's doing a good job here. She has some very nice photographs, very, very much professional quality, not some grainy, low quality photos. So she's doing a good job here. And obviously 43,000 followers, 3.5% engagement rate. I would say yes, add this influencer to your spreadsheet. Now, I've kind of zoomed into the spreadsheet here. Don't worry, I'm going to give you a version of this actually as a download later on, so you can actually start building your own influencer spreadsheet for outreach programs. Okay. So the important info here is circled in green. Of course, you want to make sure you have the URL and the username so you can actually find them again. The email, in many cases, will be included in their bio. Number of followers, and also the engagement rate. The number of followers and engagement rate is critical because you don't want to contact an influencer with 1 million followers, like I said, and an engagement rate of like 0.5%. So those are the two important points. I'll be kind of hammering that home to make sure you really get this stuff. But so far, nothing out of the ordinary, right? Nothing too complicated, I can assure you. So number two is we're going to find posts with high engagement. So we've already gone through and we checked all the Instagram accounts that relate to yoga, right? That's why I crossed them out in red. So we went through the exercise. Obviously, we did one. You might want to go through, 6 or 12 or even more of these accounts and really just deep dive and get the engagement and that kind of thing. So now we're looking at the actual post, right? So there are hashtags that people attach to every single post. So if they're doing a post that relates to yoga, they'll put hashtag yoga and attach that to a post, which I'll show you here in just a second. So if I go and click on the left there, hashtag yoga, you'll see a lot of different posts come up. Oh, look, there's the upper left one is that that account we just looked at like 30 seconds ago. Remember that one? So, and all sorts of different posts here as well. So what you want to do is the same process, right? You want to look at one of the posts. For example, I've circled one here in blue. They have 1,056 likes, 30 comments. Seems like pretty decent engagement so far. So this Alexic Twins is obviously an Instagram account. I did again some quick napkin math. Roughly 3,000 likes and comments per post divided by 50,100 times 100, 6% engagement rate. So is that good? Yeah, it's good. That's a great engagement rate. Again, anything north of 2% is very solid. And here's the thing, folks. As the number of followers goes up, the engagement rate can go down. So for example, if you have a Instagram account with 100,000 followers and they have like 1.5% engagement rate, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because the higher the number of followers, the engagement starts to slide. That's just the way it is. So if they have 6% with 50,000 followers, absolutely fantastic. So yes, 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 you want to add Alexic Twins to our spreadsheet. And can you kind of see how we're building this now? I mean, it's taking some time, obviously, but line by line, we're really stacking the deck with some really awesome influencers who we can then outreach to and try to put together a deal. Or as I said, you can send them free product and they may decide to actually showcase you in front of their 50,000 followers because you've got some interesting products. Does that make sense? We'll talk about that more later on. But for now, though, this is kind of the process and how we find these influencers by just doing a bit of digging. So remember earlier I talked about the reverse spy hack, right? My favorite technique for finding influencers. So here's how you do this. Again, we're going to go and do a search on yoga. I'm going to click on hashtag yoga. Same process I just showed you 20 seconds ago. Are you with me still here? Nothing too complicated. Again, nothing is really that crazy difficult here. So we're going to look at the Alexic Twins again, right? We're kind of repeating the same process, but I want you to look at a few things here, right? So if I click on that post here, and you can see right there, they've used hashtag yoga, hashtag fit, hashtag fitfam, hashtag fitspo, hashtag fitness, all these hashtags. And that's how you find these posts, right? Because they attach a hashtag to that post. And that's why it shows that like 15 million people used hashtag yoga in their post. But that's not the important part. I want you to look for out of the ordinary hashtags or out of the ordinary kind of verbiage here. And when I look at this here, and I see, wearing Liquido Active gear. Liquido Active is not, it's not like yoga or fit or inspiration, right? It's a very unique word. So that kind of piques my curiosity. I'm like, oh, well, why are they wearing Liquido Active gear? Why are they mentioning Liquido Active gear in their Instagram posts? I think you can kind of put the pieces together, right? Can you kind of see where I'm going with this here? I'm like, it could be because maybe it's a sponsored post. Maybe they're an influencer who already is familiar with just giving shout outs to different companies because they were sent a box of Liquido, spandex or whatever. Another one circled here on the left, the pretty lady there who's smiling for the photo. I'm looking at her hashtags. I see hashtag green eyes, hashtag foodie, hashtag fit. Horrible hashtags, by the way. They're really generic in nature. But I go down the rabbit hole and I see hashtag Coco Kind. I don't know about you. What is Coco Kind? I've never heard that before. So can you kind of see where we're going with this here? You want to look for influencers who are already promoting products or services or software or city attractions or brands related to your niche. Now, wouldn't you agree that if somebody is into yoga, if they're into health and wellness, they're into taking care of their body from the inside out, it's safe to assume that these people just really care about their skin as well, right? And if you're doing yoga and you're practicing, good health and spirituality, namaste, all that kind of stuff, it's safe to assume that you also want to use good natural products on your face and not just slap on chemicals on your face. It doesn't really make sense, right? So when I see something like Coco Kind, I'm like, well, maybe we can find other influencers who are kind of crossing over into the yoga niche because we're talking about health and beauty and wellness. So let's kind of look at this Coco Kind now and do the same thing here, right? So Liquido Activewear, we type in Liquido Active into Instagram. What do we find? Bingo, 48,000 posts have Liquido Active as a hashtag in those posts. And I'm going to guarantee you that a lot of these photos we see here are from Instagram influencers who would promote your yoga products as well or your health related products as well. Because why? Because they're already doing this stuff, right? Can you kind of see where I'm going with this? You're not trying to convince them to do anything new. They're like, oh yeah, no, we promote stuff all the time. We love it. We love getting free swag. Send us some of your, whatever it is, your yoga or your customized printable socks. Yeah, for sure I'll wear them. I'll even dance around and do yoga poses. That'd be awesome. I'd love it. Not hard to do this stuff. On the right side, Coco Kind, a little bit less competition though. 3,629 posts use hashtag Coco Kind. And again, you can assume that why would somebody include hashtag Coco Kind? Because either they're really a massive fan of the product and out of the goodness of their heart, they're just giving a free shout out and using that hashtag, or B, there's some kind of an endorsement happening, right? They got free product or somebody paid them, right? I mean, and once you start to get this stuff and really go down the rabbit hole, that's when things get really exciting, right? It's game on. You can just go and find literally dozens and dozens and dozens or hundreds of influencers using the same process I just showed you. So does this make sense? This kind of it all coming full circle now on how we deep dive into Instagram and find these influencers who are already doing this stuff. They're already promoting other products in your niche. And I know they'll promote your products as well once you find them, okay? So the process, the key is to repeat the process and scale, right? We've only scratched the surface. I showed you 2 examples, but as you can see here, we can go here and just keep adding influencers. And you might make a plan and say, you know what, I'm gonna contact 4 of them a week, or maybe, I'm gonna contact 2 a week. Whatever the number is for you, go at your own pace, but make this a part of your traffic generating strategy because the results are off the charts. As you can see, these influencers are all over Instagram. You just have to do some searching to find them. Does that make sense? Some creative thinking for different niches. I know most of you folks here are e-com, but if you are looking at targeting entrepreneurs, think about entrepreneurs and what do they do? I mean, a lot of them, they use these co-working spaces, you know what I mean? Where you have like a shared office space, there's like a shared boardroom, you have like a shared working desk where you can use it 3 times a week, or maybe you can use it anytime you want to. You can kind of sign in. So if you're an entrepreneur with a team of 1 to 4 people, you're probably doing some kind of co-working. So if I type in co-working life, 45,000 plus posts use the hashtag co-working life. You're probably going to find some influencers who are using that hashtag as well. Would you agree? WeWork is one of the biggest companies right now in the US that actually operates these co-working offices. And they have all kinds of people, shouting out, "WeWork, we love WeWork," or "WeWork Life," whatever. Again, go down the rabbit hole and find them. Same with entrepreneur lifestyle. Unless someone's an entrepreneur, they're not going to use entrepreneur lifestyle as a hashtag. Wouldn't you agree? So again, you got to kind of draw a bit of a mind map and map out all the different hashtags that you can use to find your ideal audience, to find your ideal influencer, like I've just showed you earlier. Again, if your apps, Bejeweled Star, they did a great job on boosting their app from, I think, number 80 in the App Store to number 8 in a short amount of time by looking at other gamers and saying, "Hey man, check out our game. I'm gonna give you a free copy, and I'd love for you to to do a review of it, or hey, let's give you some money if you can do a shout out." Local agency, I mean, there's tons of opportunities here for, if you're looking at working with a local nightclub owner, type in Miami nightlife, right? There's tons of people posting about different clubs they're at. You can find influencers all day long, people. Same with Miami nightclub, same with Miami hairstylist, right? Just tap into the hashtags people are already using in your niche or influencers are using. It's easy once you kind of start to think a bit, on a wider scale. Health, wellness, fitness is a huge niche again. The folks at Bulletproof Coffee have done a great job. Thank you to them. If you know that your products would appeal to the people who are sort of the Bulletproof Coffee fans, type in Bulletproof Coffee. 336,000 hashtag or posts related to Bulletproof Coffee. Also, LCHF Life. If you're not familiar with that, you may think we're going to a deep dark place on Instagram. Don't worry. Don't tell the kids to leave the room. LCHF is just low carb, high fat life. A very popular diet is low carbs or no carbs and high fat. So if you have a product that would appeal to people who are trying to get healthier, trying to live a better lifestyle, trying to change their diet and lose weight, then LCHF Life is a great hashtag to find those people. So is this kind of making sense now? I'm hoping that it's coming full circle and you're kind of thinking about different ways of, well, heck, I see now how I can use some hashtags, do some searches, build a kind of a mind map of hashtags, and start finding those influencers in my niche who already have tens of thousands of followers, right? And literally you can just take this and scale it as far as you want to, right? So a quick question. With everything I've gone through today, can you follow and replicate this simple 3-step process I just showed you? And if you say no, I need you to email me because I'm going to be concerned, because actually I am this summer while the kids are off, I'm teaching the same process I'm showing you to my 15-year-old son and my 13-year-old daughter. They've got a bit of a pet project working with some products in the pet niche, all right? And they're getting this stuff and they're following it and they're putting a plan together. It's not difficult to do, you just have to do it. That's the key, right? But you may be feeling a bit like this sore fellow right here, thinking like, my gosh, this takes a lot of time. I don't have hours a day to be combing through Instagram and creating these spreadsheets. And I get that, I mean, like anything, it's time versus money, right? The old argument. And you're not alone, because according to Forbes magazine, the 3 biggest influencer marketing challenges are: 1, identifying the right influencers, right? We talked about that. I went through the process. Measuring campaign ROI. How do you determine if you're actually making money or getting a return on your investment? And challenge 3 is attracting and engaging influencers, right? And another study said that 75% of marketers say their top challenge is identifying the right influencers. So I get that. And as I kind of got involved in influencer marketing, I found very much the same thing. So the options are today, there are services and aggregators or brokers out there, and what they simply do is they approach influencers and say, hey, can we add you to our database of influencers? And they add in all their information. So they're kind of creating a directory, if you will, of influencers. And to tap into that directory, you're paying $600 a month for Grin, and on the right side, Shout charges you $97 a month to just have that ability, and you're getting a limited amount of influencers. Maybe not influencers in your niche, because again, they're basically adding them one by one to the platform, and in some cases they take a percentage of sales, which is kind of shady, but that's kind of the way it is. On the other side, you have influencer marketing agencies like War, American Noise, or the IMA, which are also options. What about free tools? As the saying goes, don't fall for free. I've done this research as well. If you type in influencer software or software-defined Instagram influencers, there's all kinds of great options. And there's articles with clickbait titles like 5 free tools to research or top 8 free influence marketing tools. I'm telling you right now, don't waste your time, because most of these tools are nothing more than free trials to the services I showed you on the previous page. So it's like a 14-day free trial or a $1 7-day free trial. There's not a lot of tools, because most of the influencer marketing tools appeal to the bigger companies. Oh, you want to find influencers who have 1 million followers? Yeah, pay us $100 a month and we'll do that for you. No one's focusing on the little guy or the little girl or the smaller businesses that want to find influencers who have 10,000 or 20,000 followers, right? That's kind of the missing piece here. So going back to like half an hour ago, I mentioned earlier that this system requires you to do something, right? So you can see that now, hopefully, after going through the process. You can use some automation, as I said, and it makes some things easier. And this is not like Facebook ads where you log in, click a button, and the ads are live. And that's why I really feel the opportunity is now to tap into Instagram and influencers, because there's not a ton of people in your niche doing it. Sure, people are working with Kim Kardashian and Kylie Jenner, but they're not working with these micro influencers in your niche. And that's why I encourage you to kind of put this into action, put a plan together, and start doing this stuff to get traffic for your business, right? And obviously, there are thousands of influencers, maybe in your niche, even maybe tens of thousands of influencers. I don't know how big your niche is or how highly targeted you want to go, but the bottom line is that there's a lot of accounts to come through to find the right influencers for your business. So the question is, who wants an affordable and automated way to find, outreach, and manage your ideal influencers so you can get traffic and sales on Instagram without having to go through the spreadsheet nonsense that I showed you? And if this intrigues you, if you're kind of the person saying, well, yeah, automation is a good thing, that's one option. On the left side, we've got one way of doing things. On the right side, we've got another way of doing things. So let me just kind of walk through this real quick and kind of share something with you. So obviously, you can use the info I've given you today and wing it. People have done it, and there's a chance you can be successful, but obviously trial and error is the most expensive way to learn, just in general, right? I mean, trying to hop on a bicycle and just pedal without having your dad behind you is a painful and often expensive way to learn, right? Could take you 6 months just to get it. And you may get scammed, because there are some scammy, fake Instagram accounts I want to warn you about, and you can lose money. And you won't scale because of the time constraints, because it takes so much time to put this stuff together. Option 2 is to get results following a proven blueprint rather than just guessing. I've done the hard work, luckily, and have gone through and have the scars and scabs to prove it. And I want to give you my checklist and shortcuts and my swipe files and automated software to alleviate the time involved, so you can find dozens, even hundreds of influencers in minutes rather than taking months of your life to do this. And easily find influencers, get their attention, book promos, and make sales, right? So if you're thinking to yourself, well, yeah, I want to just get into the game now and alleviate months of frustration, then without getting burned, then you definitely want to take a look at my Influencer Spy program. I'll take a few minutes here. I won't make this into a 20-minute spiel. I'll just really skim through it. This will make sense for a lot of you, or you'll say, you know what, I'm going to pass for now. But this is a brand new program I released a couple months ago. I've only launched it to my internal customers and did a webinar after that to a colleague of mine. So this is not something that's been around for like 10 years. A brand spanking new. Literally, the walls are still wet with paint in the members area. That's how new it is. Okay, very, very new. So I'll just power through this real quick, and then I'd like to save some time as well to circle back and do some Q&A if it's okay with you guys. Okay. So in a nutshell, with Influencer Spy, I want to create the most powerful and complete Instagram influencer marketing system that both eliminates and automates the biggest roadblocks to success and gives you a massive advantage whether you're just starting out or experienced. Okay, so if you're new and you're thinking, I don't have a product yet, I'm kind of dabbling in a few niches here, that's totally fine, because I really took this course and made it, it starts very basic and it gets advanced as you move along. And I give you a very concrete step-by-step process to get traffic. There are hundreds of niches with influencers. You don't have to master any kind of ads or any kind of online panel. And you don't need an Instagram account. If you don't have an IG account or followers, that's totally fine. You don't need that to tap into influencers, okay? And you will see results quickly in a matter of days without waiting months or spinning your wheels. And the cool thing is you're not going to break the bank or lose money, because, as I said, you can't get free traffic from Instagram influencers, and you're not paying $1, $2 plus a click when running Facebook ads, right? And if you already have experience, things get really exciting because you already have your ducks in a row. You can scale, go wide, and get dozens of influencers promoting your product fairly easily and get that daily traffic and daily sales. And if you work out the math, you're paying literally pennies per a click, or in many cases, free. As I said, if you want to just send people some of your products and have them do walkthrough or an unboxing video, whatever. And it really eliminates the growth bottlenecks associated with influencer marketing by tapping into the system. And you will become the dominant leader in your niche. And as I mentioned to you with that company Shreds, doing $90,000 a year, and once they tapped into influencers, things blew up. And here's the thing, and I've seen it happen again and again. When influencers see other influencers recommending a product or endorsing something, often they will contact you and say, hey, how can I get some of that? Hey, I saw that Janie was endorsing that yoga mat. I love yoga. I love that mat. How can I get involved with your company? Or hey, can you send me one too? And bam, it just becomes ripple effect. I've seen it happen again and again, and create constant conversations and buzz around your brand or product, right? So in a nutshell, Influencer Spy is software and a blueprint, right? So I give you the step-by-step details on how to get results with influencers, and then I give you the software that does all the heavy lifting, that automates the process for you. It's a 6 module system that goes, again, from very basic up to advanced tactics you can go through. And the goal is to get you up to speed with influencer marketing as quickly as possible so you can see results as soon as possible. And of course, a step-by-step roadmap you can use to scale as well, okay? So when I was kind of looking at influencer marketing to begin with and looking at the challenges of finding influencers, I kind of had the brainwave of asking my team, hey, can we automate this process? The exact process I just showed you over the past half an hour, and they said, yes, we can automate the process. Normally when you want to get diamonds, you got to dig and get your hands dirty and get dirt under your fingernails, right? Nobody wants to do that. And that's what my software does for you. It just literally takes all that heavy lifting and removes it so you can find the best influencers and micro influencers with highly engaged audiences so you get more wins, right? No more 6-hour spreadsheet hell. You never have to worry about manually adding, the software does all this for you. It calculates the engagement rate, it populates the followers. All you're doing really is you're just sorting columns. That's what it boils down to. You're sorting columns in the software to, find out which influencers you want to work with. If it's this amount of followers or this amount of engagement rate, that's really what it comes down to. So I know the software will save you hours of time. You can quickly filter dozens or hundreds of thousands of influencers in your niche and find those highly engaged micro influencers, right? I keep talking about. And also organize your list of influencers, which makes your outreach and follow-up really, really easy. And the important note is that finding your ideal influencer is not a one-time exercise. I don't want to give you the impression that you do this one time and then you kind of take the rest of the year off. The thing about Instagram is that Instagram is constantly shuffling the deck with the results that you see. For example, if you type in #yoga and look at all the results on Instagram now, and then if you go back and even an hour from now and type in #yoga again, you'll see different results. I mean, there's always things changing on Instagram. And what Instagram does is they want to constantly shuffle that deck. They never want to show you the same results. So the cool thing is, you're never going to run out of influencers you can contact because Instagram is constantly adding influencers to the top of the search results that you can find utilizing the Influencer Spy software. I mean, run it once every few days, run it once a week, run it once a month. It all depends on your goals and how aggressive you want to be, but you'll never hit a wall saying, oh, I've already found all the influencers in my niche. That's not going to happen because that's the way Instagram works. They're constantly, adding posts and influencers to the top of the search results, and you'll find them all utilizing the software. So what you get in a nutshell is the 6 modules as I mentioned. You get the Influencer Spy automated software. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of cut and paste outreach scripts. So when you're actually contacting an influencer saying, hey, here's my name, here's what I do, what do you say in those templates? And the language is very, very important. And most people, I'll give you a tip, they go overboard. They have like 9 paragraphs of randomness talking about them and their product. You got to keep things short and concise. So I've got a whole pile of scripts for email and direct messaging I'm going to give you. Also, all kinds of checklists and summary sheets, because I don't know about you, I go through courses all the time, and like a month later, I'm like, I forget half the stuff I learned. I guess maybe because I'm over 40. I don't know. It's the way the brain works. But these checklists and summary sheets allow you to go back and very easily digest the information you forgot within a couple of pages, right? So if you're the type of person to forget stuff, 3 months later. That's why I created this. Also, the course is new. As I said, I got a whole bunch of unannounced bonuses and webinars I'll be adding onto the pile. Conservatively, $300 value there. So we're looking at around $2,100.43 is the total value of this package here, right? So I know you can do this. I know you can use my software to find dozens of influencers in your niche, or even hundreds, depending on the size of your niche. Can you cut and paste an email or a direct message template and contact influencers? Yes, you can. It's really simple. Can you follow my step-by-step process to lock down your first campaigns? Yes, you can. I know, because I made it really simple to go from A to Z in the program. And can you scale this with more influencers and get consistent traffic, leads, and sales? Yes, you can, especially since the software does all that heavy lifting for you. It makes it much, much easier. And can you get help from me along the way? Yes, you can. Part of this pilot program I'm launching is that I want to make myself accessible to you. I want to make sure that I'm working with you. So if you have questions, obviously, email me. This is not a coaching program, and that's why I'm not charging you $5,000 for this. But I am available if you have specific questions about influencer marketing, or you just need a second set of eyes to look at something. I'm here. So obviously, I mentioned this earlier, a person who really wants something will find a way, and a person who doesn't will find an excuse. I'm hoping that you're the kind of person that's like, yeah, I'm an action taker. I see this, I want to seize it. I want to get on. Well, the getting is a bit easier than waiting 2 years. And if you're an action taker, I want to kind of give you something here that I think that will kind of get you excited. I mean, this is the kind of total value. I'm planning on launching this thing for $695, just like my previous course I launched 4 years ago. This will be no different. However, though, what I want to do, especially before we launch, is kind of sharpen my pencil here. So anybody here interested in a $300 coupon code? Probably, unless you hate money. I don't know. So here's what I want to do with the Influencer Spy pilot program, okay? Super discounted for early adopters. There is a bit of a catch, all right? If you promise to go through the entire course and apply what I teach, and then if you're willing to share with me through a Skype chat, a screenshot, an email, just give me some kind of a high five, testimonial, case study, whatever it is, just showing me that, hey man, like here's what I did, here's what's happening, super excited. If you're willing to, at least give me that feedback, then I'm willing to slash off $300 right now, okay? And if you go to yesispy.com/T-REX, that's T-REX, and you type in the coupon code SAVE300, it's going to take an immediate $300 off the cart, okay? So I want to walk you through it here, because just make sure no one's confused. Now, when you click on the order button, make sure on the order page you type in SAVE300, a lowercase, as you see there. Click on the apply button, very important. And when you click the apply button, you will see in green an immediate discount applied of $300, okay? It's $300 back in your pocket. Take the family out for a crazy, stupid, expensive dinner. I don't know. Use it as you want to. Buy something frivolous. That's an immediate discount I'm applying off the cart. And you should see the payment here go through as $397. If for some reason, and this happened twice before, if the coupon doesn't work or something's going on that's weird, by all means, I'll give you my contact info to get in touch with me. But please, I emphasize, please make sure you use the coupon code SAVE300. Click the apply button, and as you see here, you'll see $397 as the price point. Okay, so that's really kind of a gift from me to you as we just get ramped up here. And before we get this thing launched in a few months, I want to give you a massive discount just to get your feedback. As I said, make sure this is a kind of a two-way partnership here. I'm helping you, and in turn, you're helping me as well to get some great feedback and testimonials and case studies for this product. So we'll get to the Q&A here in just a couple minutes, and I almost kind of hate to put the slide on the presentation, but everyone asks, well, what kind of money can I make? As I said before, I'm not promising you $10,000 a day. I made that income disclaimer pretty clear. However, though, what we can do is look at some industry benchmarks, okay? So these are not my numbers. I'm not telling you this is how much you're going to make, but some marketing research studies say that for every $1 spent on influencer marketing, you get $11.69 in return. Well, if we're not paying for ads, then whatever, take the cost of your product and give you some idea, right? So that's kind of just some rough napkin math. Some more stats here. 84% of marketers judge influencer marketing to be effective. 67% of marketers will increase their influencer marketing budget in the next year, and 55% of marketers believe they get better customers from influencer marketing. I'm kind of sound like a broken record here, but again, I just want you to understand how exciting this is, and give you some proof to back it up that this is there really is some substantial evidence and stats behind why influence marketing is so effective. So, I mean, obviously, again, these are not numbers you can take to the bank, but if you're putting $1 in and getting $11.69 out, would you take that deal? If you're putting $100 into influencers, getting $1,100 back, and on and on and on and on. I mean, it gets pretty exciting when you start really ramping up and getting into some of those bigger numbers. As I mentioned earlier, literally having a handful of influencers can, and if they're good and you're working with them, it can really substantially add to the bottom line of your business with another bolt-on traffic source. And again, you're not paying $5 a click, as I mentioned before, right? So real quick, before we dive into the Q&A here, this is a case study of a sunglass company, not a well-known sunglass company, and basically what this fellow Chase did, he grew this sunglass brand into a 7-figure e-commerce store. Anybody here want a 7-figure e-commerce store? I sure as heck do. Not quite there yet, getting there. And what he did is he targeted influencers on Instagram. Same thing we've been talking about over the past hour here. And real quick, the strategy: build relationships with influencers who are enthusiastic about your brand. And looking at the process here, I've highlighted the important points in blue. Got interns to make a spreadsheet. Do you have interns working with you? Probably not. So you're the one making the spreadsheet, which is what I did when I first got started. But again, making the spreadsheet, we talked about that, right? Contacting influencers who were relevant, right? Again, we don't want to have just anybody under the sun. We need relevant influencers who have a highly engaged audience and have a decent number of followers. And then it basically began to contact them with a genuine compliment, and then offered to send them sunglasses, not paying for ads, right? So I mentioned this earlier. A lot of these influencers, just sending them free swag, that's enough to get them excited about saying, hey, look at these cool sunglasses I got. Wow, shout out to Blenders Eyewear. These things are awesome. I love them. I'm going to get a pair for my sister. I mean, blah, 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 blah. That's often all it takes, right? So again, not paying for ads, 7-figure e-commerce store utilizing primarily Instagram influencers. Exciting stuff, right? And not to say you're going to do, 7 figures, but heck, even just adding a few $1,000s a month is exciting, right? So again, here's kind of the one-page overview. Everything you get is on there. Again, I'm adding things all the time. I've got actually a webinar that we're planning in the next couple of weeks. So if you get in now, you'll obviously be a part of that. I'd love to have you join the program. If you're excited about tapping into new traffic sources and utilizing Instagram before the massive competition hits, it could be, I don't know, it could be a year, it could be 2 years, I don't know. I'm just saying, why find out the hard way? Join us on this journey while the traffic getting is easy, and tap into Instagram influencers. And everything that you need to get started is in the software and all the step-by-step training. So the link is on your screen there. I don't know if Michael put it into the chat box. yesispy.com/T-Rex. Once again, make sure you use the coupon code SAVE300, and that's kind of all I've got for now. So if you have questions, I'm going to take a drink and rehydrate, and I'd love to kind of find out what's on your mind, and we can have a bit of a chat here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jason. Yeah, we have some questions here, and we'll get to them. So let me just go back up because we got, let's see, okay. Just so everyone knows, yes, this is being recorded, and we will send this out to everyone that's attended this. If you came in late, if you got in late, or if you just want to go back and see some of the information, we will be sending out the link to this. So Patty had a question. She was saying she's heavily into the grandma type of niche. She had a question for you. Maybe should she look for finding knitting influencers? Maybe some ideas on that for baseball niche, which we should find baseball coaching. Is that right? So maybe just a couple of tips on something. I know a lot of our T-Rex members are in kind of the family and grandma niche, and do you have a tip for them on something that may just pop off of the top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, for the baseball, obviously, and if you know that niche and you know what baseball players are into, obviously, if anybody's an influencer in the baseball niche, and for example, I know off the top of my head there was a ClickBank product I believe I saw as a case study, which was like how to improve your pitching speed or be a better pitcher or something like that. So somebody like that who obviously is a highly respected coach who probably has tens of thousands of followers who are pitchers of all shapes and sizes, little kids versus adults from playing men's league, adult baseball. That'd be a great place to start, and just anything in general that pitchers would be looking for on Instagram, or accounts they would be following. It could be obviously things related to technique, to speed. It may even be certain types of exercises or exercise programs that help your rotator cuff, which is an issue with pictures I know offhand, or to improve the strength of your shoulder. All these things. Again, I mentioned earlier about doing the kind of like a mind map of all these hashtags that people in that niche who are into pitching would be adding to their posts, or what influencers will be adding to their posts. So I think once you kind of go down the rabbit hole with those hashtags, and as you find new Instagram accounts, and as you find Instagram posts related to that niche or the topic of pitching, as I showed you earlier, I'm sure you'll find other hashtags you haven't thought of, and you go, oh wow, man, I had no idea that they'd be typing in like whatever. Hashtag ice my shoulder. That's just a random one I'm throwing out of thin air. But you know what I mean? Like much like I showed you with that cocoa brand, I'm like, wow, people are really adding that hashtag cocoa brand. Let me find out what that's all about. And once you do that process, spend a couple hours. I think you'll be surprised about having a good list of even like a half a dozen keywords. You can start to do more research and kind of put that list together of influencers in that niche. Same with the grandma niche. I mean, what are grandmas into? I mean, I don't know firsthand, but I would think it would be obviously travel. I mean, I know that my grandparents are always on a cruise ship or something. They're always traveling. We're obviously into any kind of senior living style Instagram pages. I'm sure there's lots of Instagram pages that appeal to seniors. Maybe it's even an Instagrammer just photographing all the travels that they have across the destinations they go, because they are retired, and hashtag senior life or whatever it might be. Again, what are seniors doing? I mean, if you're targeting men, of course, a lot of them are into golf. Women, what are they into? Maybe into sewing, knitting, macrame. Maybe into less impact sports like curling, for example. I mean, just kind of get the ball rolling that way, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised where you can find, find influencers that already have that audience, that have that tribe of seniors, if it's grandpas or grandmas or both, and how you can then outreach them and hopefully put together a promotion, because they already have that audience. Does that make sense?
Yes, very cool. From Ivanka, can I use this IG influencer system to bring traffic to an affiliate link, or does it have to be a physical product that I sell?
Yeah, that's a great question. The short answer is yes, you can use an affiliate link. The only suggestion, and I talk about this in the course as well, because I talk about different types of business models depending where you're at, but the short kind of tip I can give you today is just make sure you're not giving them a blatant affiliate link. Just make sure you're kind of disguising that somehow, much like I've given you this link, yesispy.com/T-REX. That redirects to a horrible link that's like kartra.com/ and some random numbers. I would never give you that link, because you're like, well, this is confusing. You want to create a nice short tracking link. Also, so the influencer doesn't know it's an affiliate program. And I mean, and they don't have problems with that. They'll just say, well, okay, if it's a good product, I'll promote it. Or hey, if you're giving me $10, I'll just take the money. And as long as you're not promoting anything that's hate or adult related, they're okay with that. And also, not only can you promote affiliate products, I mean, you may say to yourself, well, I want to just get leads. I want them to download my free PDF, and I want opt-ins. I want subscribers. That's cool too. Or maybe you just want people to create a free membership on your site, and they have to go in and put in their first name, last name, email, create a free membership. That's fine. We're not only talking about sending somebody to a product page, right? And in fact, I know that with some of the e-commerce tests I've done, sometimes sending them to a squeeze page for a free download, or they can get a coupon code when they opt in. That sometimes works better than sending them right to the T-Rex order page or the order summary page. You have to test these things. But the cool thing is, though, you're not limited to just sending people to a physical product order page. You can generate members, opt-ins, leads, appointments, calls, affiliate sales. It just really depends on what your ultimate goals are with that traffic, right?
Absolutely. I know you mentioned something about a spreadsheet, a download for a spreadsheet. I don't know if did you want me to kind of include that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Bill, thanks for mentioning that. I totally forgot.
Yeah, thank you, Roxy, for reminding me.
It's on the same page, that yesispy.com/T-REX.
Okay.
If you scroll down, if you want to sign up, that's great. But if you go right to the bottom, like right to the very bottom, on the right corner, you should see a link there that shows you how to get that spreadsheet into your Google account. It's right there.
Okay. Joanne's asking, what if we know nothing about Instagram? Do we need to have our own account and page?
No, great question. I skimmed over this briefly. You might have missed it, but I mentioned that you do not have to have an Instagram account. And I repeat, you do not need an Instagram account. And to use this system, you don't have to really know anything about Instagram. I mean, what I did in the course, as I mentioned briefly earlier, I mean, the first two modules are very, very introductory. And they're actually titled Instagram 101 and Influencer Marketing 101. So like those of you that are on this call who are like, I have no clue about Instagram, I have no clue about Instagram or influencers. Well, this is kind of the training wheel phase, right? We'll walk through everything, explain to you what a post is, what a tag is, what a caption is, all that stuff. If you're already down the road and you're like, yeah, I get it, you can skip through those modules. And when you log into the portal, the first welcome video I show you how to use this little chart to kind of skip through certain modules to save you time. You don't have to watch them all if you're a little more advanced, and you can kind of fast forward, almost like binge watching Netflix. Just fast forward to the modules that make sense to you. So yeah, built for beginners. Also, those of you more advanced, you'll definitely find you can dive into the more advanced modules.
Okay, so another question. This is going to be this for right now. We are going to keep this offer open, just so everyone knows. So we haven't really put a deadline on it yet. Eventually we will, kind of close this offer down. We're going to have it kind of evergreen for right now, so it's not something you have to, go through and make a quick decision today or tomorrow or by the end of the week. So you have some time, and then we'll kind of let you guys know that, and we'll send out. What I'll do is I'll send out another email to everyone who attended when we decide to kind of wrap it up. So just so you guys know. There was another question up here. Let's see. I don't know what this is. How does this work with V-Targeter, or does it? I've never heard of
Oh yeah,
that.
that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, a similar concept, yet a bit different. I mean, with V-Targeter, we're trying to it's more for YouTube and for Google rankings, right? And that's kind of when I started dabbling with Google and or YouTube rather, in 2011, 2012. Very much the same process. I'm like, holy crap, I can rank videos quite easily using my process, and the software just automates the process. This is a completely different product in terms of the focal point. All we're doing now is we're trying to just find the sweet spot of influencers as quickly as possible based upon your search parameters. Let me give you an example. If you say, well, I want to find influencers who use the hashtag or they're related to the hashtag yoga, yoga life, and let's say yoga mat. Keep it very simple. Okay, and there's all kinds of posts that use those hashtags. You can set up in the software search filters and say, well, I only want influencers who have 6,000 followers and no more than 50,000 followers. And if I'm searching Instagram posts, I want to make sure that the minimum amount of likes a post has is 10. Because less than 10, you might say, you know what, it's not worth my time. If you're getting less than 10 likes, it's really not a highly engaged audience. And you can run the software that way. So you're kind of going and searching through a massive amount of influencers, but you're really only taking a small slice of very specific influencers. And then of course you can sort on the engagement rate to only find the most highly engaged influencers. So what could happen is that you could end up finding, let's say, 200 influencers with the software. But at the end of the day, after you sort through all the garbage, you may even have, let's say, 10 influencers that have a high engagement rate, maybe like 2% or greater engagement rate, and maybe they have 10,000 or more followers, and they kind of all the check boxes are lined up, and those 10 are really what are going to make things rock and roll for you, rather than trying to contact 200 influencers, which would take you, weeks of time. Does that make sense? So it's almost like we're just really, it's almost like you're just sifting through a massive amount of information to find the hidden gold, to find the hidden diamonds, which are in there, but the software brings those to the surface for you automatically within a matter of I don't know, probably 60 seconds, if not less.
Okay. And you might have mentioned this to me in our previous Skype. I know that when I first clicked on the link, I had to kind of click through. It says it's not a secure link, but you just go to advanced settings, and then it does bring you to a secure URL. So I know a couple of people, and I don't know if that's what you mentioned in our Skype about something about cookies. I don't know if I didn't do something right.
Oh yeah, actually, what I should. That's a good point. Actually, I should get a SSL certificate on that domain. It's just a redirect. I mean,
Yes.
that yeshispy.com, it's just redirecting you, because again, that the actual link of the summary page is so awful. I wouldn't attempt you to try to type it in. It's like literally, it's as long as your forearm. It's ridiculous.
Right. So basically, if you guys go, if you click, if you come to that message on that page, you'll click on advanced settings, and then it will say continue to site. It will bring you to a secure website. So you don't have to worry about that. It's not spam. But well, so don't worry about clicking on it. So what I had to do was I clicked. You'll click advanced settings, and you'll see right below it says continue to site. And you'll just click that, and then you'll see when it'll pop up, it will have a secure site on it. So that's just kind of a redirect link that you guys are clicking on.
Yeah, I apologize for that. Clearly, as you can see, there's some T's to be crossed and I's to be dotted, since, as I mentioned before, this is a brand spanking new program, and I'm just kind of putting all this together here as we sort of wrapped up the program as of a month ago or so.
Okay, let's see. Do you accept PayPal or PayPal credit? I'm not sure if somebody tried to go through.
We do accept PayPal. The card that I'm using doesn't accept PayPal credit at this time, unfortunately, but PayPal credit card, yes, those are both options.
So yeah, so everyone that had that question about the secure site, I can assure you that it's all good. Can one send traffic directly to a sales page on eBay or Amazon, or should one send them first to some sort of landing page? I think you kind of touched on this a little bit, but basically, will eBay or Amazon or Etsy suspend your account for driving a rush of Instagram traffic to their site?
No, I mean, it's entirely up to you. Like, I mean, for now, Instagram is not policing accounts and saying, hey, you included a link to Amazon in there. How dare you? Like I said, I always recommend you use a redirect of some sort, preferably a secure site redirect, obviously, as we found out here, surprise, surprise, because Google doesn't like that, or Chrome, or whatever the browser is. But yeah, if you can use it, even there's redirect services. Some are better than others. That like goo.gl is one that you can use. It's a Google's own shortening service. There's always different examples you can use, but for sure I would recommend you not use a naked eBay, Amazon, or ClickBank affiliate link. Always use a redirect. And I mean, and Amazon has no problem with where you send that traffic. The only time they may have a problem is if somebody complained to them and said, hey, I was supposed to get a free download and somebody sent me to an adult site and tricked me. This is so shady and so wrong, and they complain. Then I'm sure that at some point Instagram would step in and say, hey, shame on you. We're going to do something here to make sure you don't do that again. But if it's totally cool and you're not baiting and switching people, I have never encountered Instagram getting involved and saying, hey, no, you can't use that link to eBay, not allowed. They really don't police that.
Okay, and I think we got about time for one more question here, guys. And again, if you have any other questions, Jason, I don't know if you have a place for people to go just to kind of, maybe if they had more questions about the software or anything like that, if you want to type that into the chat box, so you could probably answer them directly. But one more question here was, let's see, oops, I lost it. Let's see, guys. So Jason was asking, influencer marketing seems to be the most successful for those with for niche stores. What if I have a general store selling, print-on-demand products in many niches? Does this make it harder to build my brand? And does it appear to be more focused? I would think maybe you would select maybe a certain product, and you could probably talk a little bit more about that, Jason. But I would think maybe if you have a print-on-demand store and you have a lot of different niches, it might be good to select, a certain few products or something within all those niches and focus on that, and then find the influencer that may, be directly related with that product.
Yeah, I would say that. Well, for those either can see that, I put an email address on the screen there. So if you have questions about the product or just need clarification about what's included with Influencer Spy, then support@joltsupport.com. I get carbon copied on all the emails. So if you say attention, Jason, it'll catch my attention and I can reply to you. But I always recommend that you start small. and then scale. And as I said before, the biggest mistake and one of the big takeaways I want you to get from this class today is that do not contact influencers with like 100,000 followers or a million followers, and then kind of do your testing at that level. You want to kind of lower the bar a little bit and even test with influencers with a few thousand followers. I mean, get a few miles under your wheels. So if you have an offer that's more generic, that's exciting, and yes, you can crush it. I mean, and a lot of the offers I see within the Instagram accounts that I follow, they have a few million followers, and there's all these like generic iPhone cases and all kinds of T-shirts and stuff, appealing to a massive audience. But these folks usually have their metrics dialed in. They know what ad works, if it's image ad or video ad. They have all the conversion A/B split testing locked down. So they really have a well-oiled machine. So if they spend like $400 on an ad, they know that without fail, they're going to get whatever, like a 5x on their money, because they've done this again and again. You, who's just starting out with this stuff, are probably not in that position. So again, that's why I recommend you focus on the micro influencers. But you can definitely promote more of a generic mass market product to sort of a niche audience. Again, you just got to make sure there's a fit. Like for example, if you're trying to target seniors Instagram pages with some new, I don't know, maybe it's some new like vaping item. I mean, I don't think that many grandmas are vaping. If you're going to be targeting teens or people in their 20s who are into going out to clubs and partying, yeah, I mean, I see kids on my street, they're vaping. So I mean, like, you got to match the product with the actual demographic and the influencer that you're approaching. So once again, start small if it's a niche product or a generic product, and then as you sort of move up, just like anything, you want to kind of make sure that you're not just going for the big hit, the big win before you're ready. Just start small and kind of graduate from there.
Awesome. All right. Well, I have to run. I have a lot of stuff to do. I know Jason's a busy guy. I hope you guys, I think we got just about everything. If you have any other questions for Jason, anything at all, it's support@joltsupport.com. I put that in the chat so you guys can follow up with him. I just want to thank you, Jason, for taking your time. This is awesome stuff. I know if you guys enjoyed it, for those of you, we still have about 70, almost 80 people on. Just put a yes or I loved it or something that you guys had a really good, if you found this just really informative. I learned so much by doing this, and I'm just glad that you were able to take some time and share this with us.
Hey, my pleasure. Always a great group, and I appreciate the questions. And yeah, I mean, if nothing more, I want to leave you with with these words. I mean, just most people kind of hang up and check email and get back to texting, but just make this a part of your plan. If not today, if you're not ready today, that's fine. But if I just encourage you to don't kind of forget about it while this is still hot and while there are easy pickings. Don't put this off to 2019 and kick yourself saying, oh, damn it, I wish I would have got involved when Potash was doing that webinar. And now, it's just, there's so much more happening. It's tough to get in. Be one of the first in your niche, not one of the last in your niche to tap into influencers.
Absolutely. Getting a lot of love from everyone. Thank you. Great
Awesome.
info. Thanks a bunch. Great offer. Yes, thank you. I'm in. So thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next week. And Jason, you have a good rest of your week and a good weekend.
Hey, thanks, Michael. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.